Hi class, in this module we're going to talk about the main idea of fractions. And here's the basic idea on a fraction. They represent pieces of an integer, and typically the integer that we're talking about is the value of 1. And well, here's the basic idea. The value of 1 can be expressed as halves, as thirds, or as any other value. Now, let me give you examples of fractions. And the main idea on a fraction is we're using this notation, but we're supposed to have that the numerator and the denominator, which is the top and the bottom, are integers with b is not equal to 0. So examples could be 1/3, perhaps 4/5, 7/8, and any other mathematical structure that is in this sort of a shape. Now, technically, if the top and the bottom are not integers, it's not considered a fraction, or it's not a fraction in the proper form. So let me just give you a quick example of not fractions. So for example, if you have 0.2/3, you could express it as a fraction, but because you have a decimal on the top, it's not considered a fraction. It's not in the proper form. Or if you were to have the values of 3 divided by 0, this is technically undefined. So technically, when we're talking about fractions, these are, well, mathematical structures that on the top and the bottom, they actually have an integer. Now, let's talk about the types of fractions. So when we talk about a proper fraction, the numerator is actually smaller than the denominator. So in this case, for example, 1/3 could be a proper fraction. 4/5 is also, the top is smaller than the bottom, and then perhaps 7/8. Let me talk about improper fractions. And in this situation, the top is actually larger than the denominator. So for example, the values of 3/2, 5/4, 8/7. I'm just using the ones on the top, meaning the proper fractions, and inverting them. When we talk about a mixed number, in this case, it's an integer that contains fractions. So for example, 2⅓. It's a mixed number. 2 is considered to be the integer, and then the 1/3 is the fraction that is being added to it. You could also have 4�8, and then perhaps 10½. So here's the basic idea. As we work in the module, the following fractions are going to show up as part of the exercises. That's actually it for this video. Just giving you a overview of fractions that we're going to actually see.